Okay, we're live.
All right, you girls. It's so good to see you. I'm Amy Lacey, and I am here with Living Beyond Medicine and Jimmy Sturgeon Smith and Megan Perkins. All right, we have Jimmy and I have been on a few times. If you haven't watched us, go look at other episodes. But Megan is new to being here, and we are so excited. It's something we've been trying to do for a while. Look at her light in the background. But first, skin care.
What?
So we're going to talk all skincare today. We're not talking about gummies or supplements, but let me tell you a little bit more about Megan, because we discovered her and she has absolutely been a gift from God. No joke. Okay. Megan graduated she has her bachelor's in pharmaceutical science and in cosmetic formulation and design and a minor in chemistry. I didn't even know cosmetic formulation was a thing in school. So you're like a specialist amongst a specialist in the science. Okay. So she started working in hair care, which is near and dear to my heart. I love hair care. And I'm not going to say who you've been with.
Right.
Because that blows our secret. So I'm skipping that part. But you are very passionate in all types of cosmetics, and you love to better educate people, especially people like us and general consumers, about the science behind cosmetics and help bring truth around the myths, which is what this episode is all about. But first, just for our audience to hear from you and just to know a little bit more about you and what we get to see from you, tell us why you're so passionate about skincare and what got you into this.
Yeah. So I graduated from the University of Toledo, and originally I've always been surrounded by pharmacy and pharmacists. All my friends' moms are pharmacists. There's literally a handful of them. My mom used to be a pharmacy tech, so I just kind of always got immersed into that. However, I knew it was a pretty brutal industry, and I'm like, not so sure if I actually want to do that or not. So I chose Toledo because they have one of the best pharmacy programs in Ohio, and I'm from Ohio. So I could get in-state tuition, which was super nice. And then I wanted to just do something safe too, where I was like, what if I don't like this? What's my backup option? So Toledo at the time had 6 different bachelor programs, all in the School of Pharmacy, cosmetic science being one of them. So that was kind of my backup, because I'm like, oh, this kind of sounds cool. And I wanted to do something that I didn't want to work another day in my life after graduation. I wanted to enjoy what I was doing. And that is kind of what intrigued me, because I am a girl, so I have used skincare and I have used cosmetics, but I never realized that could actually be a job. So Dr. Baki, who's at the University of Toledo, did a great job in enticing me in, because I'm here now. And she kind of showed us everything that can happen with that. And I wanted to be a pharmacist because I wanted to care for people, but I didn't realize that I could do that as a chemist too. So I can kind of take care of my formulas and my clients without being a person that's being yelled at in retail pharmacy. So that was pretty good.
I love that. And we could tell from working with you. I mean, I don't get to work with you. Jimmy does. Yeah. So let me rephrase that. I can tell from Jimmy's excitement. And when I talk to her and we have, recaps of what you guys have gone through, you're special. Because we've worked with a lot of manufacturers. We've worked with a lot of innovation teams between cauliflower and soursop, and you are a very special person.
Thank
you. And I love you because Jimmy loves you. So Jimmy's picky. It's hard to love. Jimmy doesn't love easy.
I love all. I don't always like everybody, but I really love all people.
Okay. She loves humanity, but she's a picky girl. Anyway, she's like, Amy, Megan. Because we worked with another line prior to finding you guys. So that's a fun story. Maybe if there's time at the end, but let's get started.
Yeah, awesome.
Jimmy's got so many questions.
Yes, we just are so excited. Thank you again for taking the time to meet with us. And,
yes, thank you.
Our community is just going to be so thrilled to hear from you, especially firsthand what it's been like to work with soursop and just kind of bring Amy and my vision to life. So we're just so grateful for your time. So thank you for that. So one of the things that I think would be really fun for you to share, because I've been in the skincare industry for 20 years as an esthetician, still licensed, although I'm not currently practicing, but I'm licensed in 3 states. So that's always fun. I like to just take it everywhere I go. Why not?
Throw that out there. Yeah.
It's nice to just have it. But I think that it's just really interesting. Over the years, there have been so many misconceptions and so many things that people they've just started to, publicize in mainstream media that, just aren't really the things that you want to get too hung up on. And so share with us just some of your thoughts on just the general misconceptions of skincare and the skincare industry.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing to touch on is everybody likes to throw around the word chemical, but you have to kind of take it back one notch and realize that everything is a chemical. We drink water. Water is a chemical by nature. Sunlight is technically a chemical. Plants are chemicals. You just have to take it back down a notch and not throw that word around a lot. And that's kind of what social media is doing, and kind of taking that word into a different definition and misconstruing this story of that chemicals are bad, and that's not what it means.
Yeah, and making it a villain, making chemicals the villain, which it doesn't even make any sense when you just think about it.
Yeah, and I mean, inside of your body, we're all made up of chemicals. That's just an invalid excuse. And so when I hear that, my ears are just like, oh my gosh, what? Stop talking. Sounds so bad.
No, I probably say that. It's good to know. Thank you for
saying that. It's okay. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I can tell, Amy, that you mean it out of the kindness of your heart, not because you're like, oh, all chemicals are bad. That's not what you're kind of coming at. So the other biggest one is that natural ingredients are better versus synthetic ingredients. That's neither is worse or better than the other. What you really have to focus on is whether or not they're functional and that they're actually benefiting what you're supposed to be doing and what you're looking for, because you can have synthetic ingredients all day, but if they're not functional, then they do you no good. Same with natural.
And I think too, synthetic is another villain word,
yeah.
Right? They use the word synthetic, and to your point, if it's functional and it's not toxic and it's not carcinogenic, and it's actually not causing you harm in any way, shape, or form, whether it penetrates deeply or doesn't penetrate deeply, depending on your philosophies on how much of what's put on your skin is absorbed. And there's all of those conversations that everybody's got an opinion about. But it's so interesting because so many people will be like, our product doesn't have any synthetic ingredients. And it's like, well, okay, that's great. Does it actually do anything? Does it work? Because, I mean, if you only are rubbing dirt on your face, guess what? You're rubbing dirt on your face.
It's valid, yeah. And you can go outside and get sunlight, but you're also going to get a sunburn. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, depending on how much melanin you have in your skin, it's just sort of you got to be careful. Yeah, no, that's so good.
Okay, so if that is the case, then what should the general consumer look for when they're looking at ingredients? And have I swayed our question? Because we can come back to that.
A little bit.
Okay, let's stay on track. I'm so trying to go off track.
It's okay. From my perspective, I think evidence means a lot because you can say a lot of things, you can show a lot of things, but if you don't have proof, then all your words essentially mean nothing to me. At the end of the day, I am a scientist. So you can tell me that something works, but if I can't see that it physically does that, then that's nice. That type of thing. So I think consumers should pay attention to that too. It's you're paying a price for something, but if you can't see what it's benefiting not only on other people, but then also on yourself, then what's it worth it? There is no worth to that.
That's also why, just any of you who are listening or watching this or watching the replay who have purchased our products and have not sent me your before picture, send it now, because the picture is worth 1,000 words. Yeah. I'm telling you, my Botox has lasted so much longer than it ever used to. It's just crazy that, they say, the proof of the pudding is in the tasting. That's the actual way that you say that quote, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that, because a lot of people just say the proof is in the pudding, but that's not how you're supposed to say it. Anyway, but it really is. It's so important. You have to show, you have to show that before and after. And you'll see mine and Amy's all over our website, because of course we are obsessed with this product, but Amy literally
mine's a sunburn. Mine's a burn.
Yeah, she burned her face. literally within just a day, her skin was just white as rain. And I have another testimony. I have one more testimony about this. My best friend is obsessed with this product line, and she has this tendency to get sun rashes. And she'd be perfectly happy with me sharing this story. It's not like personal, but just last week, she ended up breaking out in a sun rash on her chest because she went for a 10-minute walk in the sun. It's just like, as we get older, sometimes we get more photosensitive, and like perimenopause just, it has its fun little bag of tricks that it brings. But she got this sun rash all over her face and her neck and her chest, and she used our product, and the next day it was all really, really, really toned down. And then within a couple of days, it was just gone. And so you're right. It's like, the proof is really just in experiencing it.
Yeah.
How do we, what can people look for on the ingredient label that can tell them that this is something that they should try and that they can trust it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's kind of like a hard question to answer because everybody's different. But from a chemist perspective, like I said, like if somebody's doing the hard advertisements against like chemicals and like chemical free, like that's such an open-ended word. Like you can't, that's something to me is a red flag. So I think it's easier to find the red flags than it are the green flags because there are a lot of green flags in everything. But to the same point, like what Jimmy, you were saying, like dirt's pretty good. It's good for the environment, but maybe not for your face. So you have to take the green flags with a grain of salt too, and like make it mean something to you. So
yeah. And that comes right back down to Amy and I are always talking about bio-individuality and like how important that is just like on a overall. So yeah, that's really good. I love that. I love that it's not one size fits all.
Right.
There are obvious things that people know to stay away from. We stay away from BPA plastics. We stay away from phthalates. I think that people know now, just almost as a household term, you want to stay away from phthalates like that.
Yeah.
I think getting known. I think we're kind of, and I mentioned this before we went live, but I think we're kind of at that point with skincare where Jimmy, you and I were in 2016 with food industry. I mean, I don't want to bring it back to the food industry, but I will for a moment because I think you're going to see in 2026, the skincare industry is going to go crazy. And these terms that you're talking about, you're going to see more of them because people are going to abuse the advertisement of it. And it's going to be like organic and all these like people like Lancome and Estee Lauder are going to get slammed big time because of the chemicals that they have in it and the fragrance and the harsh things that we know are true to be harsh.
Yeah.
Kind of like the food industry back in the day when we created cauliflower pizza crust, there was just Udis out there and a lot of garbage out there in the frozen section. So I think I think the skincare system is about to have a makeover.
Yes.
Unintended, a makeover.
Yeah. Have a makeover. That's actually very clever, Amy.
Yes. I think for somebody like me who is learning, Jimmy already knows all this. Can you go through, I know you have slides to teach us. Are we at that point? Can we talk about
I have a couple more things. I think based off of what you're saying with the like the makeover for the industry, that is going to happen. And that's also something to look out for as a consumer, is whether or not these brands are actually doing what they should be doing in the eyes of the law. With MOCRA, which is the Modernization of Cosmetic Regulation Act, is the first act since the FD&C Act. Which I can't remember dates off the top of my head, but it was a long, long time ago. Way before any of us were able to use skincare, or even before I was here.
Speak for yourself, but yeah.
But yeah, so that's definitely going to flip the coin of this industry on its head, and it's going to make the bad, quote unquote, bad brands make themselves aware. And, the good thing about the generation that we are in is media travels super fast. So if anything bad does happen because of this, you'll know and it'll be talked about. And public knowledge is just as beneficial as science too. You have to take it with a grain of salt still, but it's still knowledge that would help you. So another myth too that I did want to talk about too is that not every ingredient needs to be a high percentage. A lot of actives are functional at lower percentages. So that's another good point too, that you can have a bunch of stuff in a formula, but that doesn't mean that it works correctly. Or you can have stuff at a lower percentage, ingredients at a lower percentage, and it'll still be functional. So that goes back to the whole thing of functional ingredients are best, not necessarily natural or synergistic or synthetic. So
I love that. You know, it's interesting because that actually kind of touches on the question of like, what should people be looking for? And it's almost like the opposite, because people could say, oh, I want to buy this because it has hyaluronic acid in it. But really, like, does it have, and I know we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but does it have effective hyaluronic acid? Is it penetrating the way that it's supposed to? Is it actually doing what it's supposed to? Because they're not all created equal. And so you're saying, you know, you need to see, and also I think you need to trust. And I think that like the brands like us, you know, we're just trying to get out here and educate and make sure that people understand, hey, this is what we're experiencing with our own skincare line. And it's like, honestly, like we put it together and we're super proud of it, but we're also like amazed by even how much more incredible it is than, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just so interesting to me how some people will be like, well, I just want to use this because it has HA. And it's like, yeah, but it doesn't have, even if it has this percentage of HA, is it effective? Is it actually, yeah, that's so good.
Yeah. And I want to do another quick testimonial since you shared your friend, but I want to share Caroline because she's my daughter. She's 21. She models. She's been in Paris Fashion Week, LA Fashion Week, Miami Swimsuit Week, New York Fashion Week, whatever. Her skin needs to be really good. And her skin was breaking out a lot. And so I took her to the dermatologist and they put her on all kinds of chemicals. And then we came out with our skincare line and I asked her to try it. And she was like, wow, this is like making a huge difference. And I said, you need to stop what the doctor's doing just to really give it a good shot if you're willing to do that. And she said, sure. And she was kind of hesitant but she was in between shows and doing anything. So she's like, if it doesn't work, that's okay. I have time. And she has raved about it. She's quit everything that the dermatologist put her on, and she only uses our skincare. So fast forward, we were together this week, and we were in a hotel, and we were washing our face and doing stuff. And she's like, Mom, I love this stuff. Like, this stuff is gold, and you need more people my age using it. Wow. And it really helps with acne. Yeah. And that's not something, you know, I don't know about you, Megan, but I know when we were creating this, I wasn't like, Jimmy, we need skincare that combats acne. That wasn't even on my forefront of thought.
The problem is that Megan and I both deal with adult acne.
Yeah.
I used to, but I've gone through menopause, so I don't deal with it.
We got together.
Actually, that's not true.
We got together and we were like, it also needs to work for people who have acne, especially adult acne, because it is not fair to have wrinkles and acne at the same time.
Well, and she has cystic acne.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so it's really helping with that. So,
which is actually crazy because cystic acne typically, I mean, I went on Accutane when I was 23. That was the way I was.
So did she.
Yeah.
So did she. And I don't, you know how I am about that kind of, those things that have side effects that are worse off than the actual.
You literally have to go on birth control. Like, you can't, like, that's just crazy. The whole thing.
Yeah. She had to go on birth control.
Yeah.
Before she needed it.
Yeah. It's crazy. So that was, I mean, I think in the back of both of our minds, when we talked about it, we both felt like that was going to be really important just because, you know, and the thing is that's really confusing, I think, in the skincare world is people think that you can't use anything that's actually hydrating for your skin if you have acne. And that's just not true. At least that hasn't been true for me. I use our firming cream, which is very, very hydrating. And I do break out at all. I mean, if I break out, I break out because of whatever's happening inside of me that causes me to initially break out. But that's not a topical issue. That's an internal issue. And then I use our products and it goes away within just like days. I mean, it's just the craziest. It's so cool. Anyway.
Well, the burn that I had was such a bad burn. Turns out I'm allergic to turmeric, I guess, on my face. The burn was so bad that I was shocked. I'm glad I took a before picture, but I was shocked at how quickly it went down. And I have lupus, so my skin's jacked up anyways.
It's reactive. It just reacts. Yeah.
So it reacts. Yeah, it's reactive. So I was shocked at what our formula can do. But let's get back to you because I feel like we're like hijacking the conversation.
You're good. I think, yeah. So go ahead, Jimmy, if you want to put up the slides. And then going into the fact of the trendy like words about chemicals and whatnot, I think something we're gonna see with Mocha happening is also the word clean. There is no legal definition of the word clean in the eyes of the law. It's all a marketing word, and it has been taken and ran with in this industry for years, almost to the point where it's almost trendy and no longer credible anymore. So I was telling Jimmy and Amy this earlier that you kind of have to pick words that aren't necessarily trendy, but actually mean something to you. And actually mean something in the eyes of the law. So like the term organic in cosmetics does have legal definition, and you do have to follow certain laws for that. But other words like word chemical or clean or what was the other one you said, Jimmy, that I can't think of now? That's just villain words. Like there's no legal definition. So
yeah.
Yeah. So that's my last thing for myth busting. For the human skin now, we want to talk about the layers of the skin. So we have epidermis, dermis, hypodermis, and muscle. Another, misconception is that, oh, my skincare only works because all of my ingredients are going to the dermis. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. It does mean something in the sense of you want certain things to go to the dermis, but you also want it to be safe. And the brand needs to have a formulation that gives these ingredients out to the layers of the skin safely and proactively, the way that they actually work. So the first layer is the epidermis, and that's what we mainly want to focus on. You do want some things going into the dermis, but again, you want it safely. So I typically dermis things are for the dermatologist, hence their name. So the first question that Jimmy that you had was what makes skincare product actually absorb into the skin. So that's more for especially formulated skincare that's been formulated by an expert. A lot of people are formulating cosmetics at home, which is a little alarming because they don't know, not necessarily that they don't know what they're doing. It's pretty easy to make an emulsion if you have the basics down. It's just like cooking. However, doing it safely and doing it functionally is a whole different level. That's kind of why formulation chemists exist. And I have a job, so that's good.
That's why we have you, because it's really important. Like, I'm not going to call somebody out, but there is somebody on our extended team that's making something in their kitchen and selling it. And I thought that when I heard about it, I'm like, well, kudos to them. I'm not going to be threatened by that. But it's like your credibility and the testing. And I know you're going to go through the extensive testing we did. It's not normal that you don't see in everyday skincare, but it's so important.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's so important to have somebody like you that's an expert.
Yeah, and you have to know the whole understanding. Like you can know what essential oils do to your skin. You can know what oils do to your skin, but you don't necessarily know how that reacts with a certain ingredient. All ingredients work with each other, and sometimes not for the safe part. So you have to know what you're doing chemically, and then also know what you're doing physically. Because like I said, making skincare is almost like cooking, but if you don't know what you're doing, you might accidentally create an accidental bomb of some sort. So
I was going to say, yeah.
So that's the first thing. And then also to get it to absorb is layering your skincare products correctly. I know, Jenny, you've talked about this a lot, is layering it from the thinnest to the thickest. You also can do water-based first to oil-based last, because your skin loves water, so it's going to instantly hydrate. And then also larger molecules / ingredients first versus the smaller ones. And then SPF is always last, because you want to make sure you protect your skin. And then at the end of the day, if you don't want to do any of those, at least follow what the brand's recommendation is.
Perfect. And this brand has decided to be agnostic when it comes to SPF. We have decided you do you on your SPF, because we all have a different philosophy on what that needs to look like for us. So.
Yeah, and SPF is a whole different world. I did an internship doing zinc oxide sunscreens, so it's a whole different beast.
That's my favorite. If I'm going to wear a sunscreen, I usually use a mineral one. Yeah.
Yeah. And that kind of goes into where we were talking about the word chemical. That's a whole thing in the SPF world. Because there's physical SPFs and there's chemical SPFs. And the physical are those minerals. And, like I said, the sunlight is a chemical and it's doing a chemical reaction on your face by giving you a sunburn. So you want to block that off with your SPF. But it just is the same thing. It's all chemical. It's all zinc oxide. It's just a mineral too.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do too to help absorb is applying skincare after a shower. You can also use the shower for steam to help warm the skin. That helps open up the pores, letting the products absorb faster and deeper. Another thing you can do is exfoliate, and you should cleanse always, but exfoliate helps too, prior to applying skincare. And your guys' cleanser has the glycolic acid in it that exfoliates.
Stop saying your guys'. It's ours, Megan.
Yes. Yeah. Ours. Yes. So that glycolic acid, it's not at a high enough level to disrupt the skin's barrier, but it is at a high enough level to give you a light exfoliation.
Yeah.
And speaking on acne, that's really something that people with acne need to have.
Absolutely.
Because our pores are just naturally larger than everybody else's. And any dead skin that gets in there is going to cause a problem. So if you just get rid of that in the sense, and then also clean all of the dirt off, that can also help too.
I'm a little, back in the day, I used to use Dermalogica, and they had a microfoliant that was gritty, and I was addicted to just the feeling of that grittiness on my face, and I love, it's a little bit of a mind bend to realize that as I'm cleansing my face, I'm getting that exfoliation without the grit.
Yes.
It does, it's like, it's a treatment in and of itself.
Yeah. Okay, you just elaborated, but can you say anything more about our cleanser? Because let me tell you, people are addicted to that. And I've had a couple investors, if you're watching, question me about our cleanser. And I'm like, well, it's a treatment and a cleanser. So can you elaborate a little bit more on it?
Yeah. So it's using the cleansing agents, which are the surfactants that are gentler on the skin, but still provide really great foam. And then, like I said, it has the glycolic acid in it that gives the gentle exfoliation. And I'm going to bring up your cleanser real quick so I can remind myself what I'm looking at.
That's what you mean when you say it's a treatment and a cleanser.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's basically the clarity. You don't have to bring it up. You don't have to what you're doing. Yeah. I know I told you before we got on here, I might twist us and just keep us back on track, Megan. No, but it's so important for people to understand, because I've had people say, oh, I love it, it's awesome. And then I've had people say, well, it's too thin. I'm like, no.
You're not used to, it's a little bit different if you're really used to something that's super, super, super like bubbly and foamy. We made it right in the middle. So it's got some nice foam to it, but it's not so foamy that you feel like it's,
I love it.
Bubble bath, right? Like, you don't want to be,
I'm putting it all over me. Yeah. Skin, like it's everywhere on me.
That's another myth too about the thinness of a product. Like, just because it's thin doesn't mean that it works any less than something that's thick. So having something that is ridiculously heavy might actually be more harmful depending on how you're putting it on. Same with how thin. Like, if you have a super thin sunscreen, for example, and you're just putting it on your face, but you're not putting enough of it on because it's so thin, then you can go out and get a sunburn. So it's like, it's an oxymoron. It's like a double-edged sword. So
yeah, that's awesome. And I think for those of you who are used to having to first wash your face, then exfoliate your face with a separate product, we did 2-in-1. So we've saved you money right there. Plus the bottle is gigantic, so you can literally wash your entire body with it, and it will last you forever. And then the other thing that, again, I think I've said this on every single live, but I get so excited about it, is I have been using it for my keratosis pilaris, and it's completely keeping my keratosis on my arms You used to just always have little white bumps all over them, and they just don't anymore. And my kids are like, Mama, your bumps on your arms are gone. And I'm like, it is it's our cleanser. It's amazing.
And that's the glycolic acid. Like I think something that's going to happen in the new year is people are going to be a little bit afraid of AHAs, which are alpha hydroxy acids, which is what that glycolic acid is, because they've put out more information that it's not necessarily good for kids. Well, that's fine. Neither is, if you give a kitten some milk, they might get sick. But if you give a cat milk, they're going to get really sick. It's like not everything is a one size fits all. And the glycolic acid is there because it works. Yeah. And it works for a multitude of things. It helps with acne. It helps with bumps. It helps with eczema. Like it helps with all kinds of things. You can even use it in your hair if you wanted to. If it's made properly.
But one thing I want to say about the size of it, because you mentioned it, not to change the subject, but from a consumer's perspective, I can't think of one kit, and I'm a kit kind of girl, even from the dermatologist, where I didn't run out of the cleanser first before all the other products. So when we were making this, I told Jimmy, up the cleanser. I want people to have the cleanser be the last thing they run out of, because it drives me nuts. And I don't want to call them out, but Rodan Fields constantly run out of the cleanser before anything else back in the day when I was doing Rodan Fields. Don't do it. Anyway, I think the stuff is amazing and it smells. Love the smell. You did such a good job on this. Citrus.
Yeah, that was all Jimmy. That was on pure accident. I just picked whatever she said and it smelled good. So good job, girl.
The thing I know Amy is not like a floral scent kind of girl. And I was like, what would be great is if we just had something that smelled really fresh and just it just smelled as clean as it actually like feels on your face, And so we went with citrus and it just rocks. It smells so good.
I personally use the hyaluronic acid every day, and I use it as like, okay, we're calming down from the day. Like, okay, I'm refreshing myself. I'm preparing for the next day. It's more of like, I love the smell so much that it's more like a mental reset too, which is a whole different section of aromatherapy and how that can help you too.
Right. And that's why we chose essential oils and not fragrance, not anything like no toxic fragrances. We have real essential oils in our products that really can be therapeutic for you. So that's wonderful. And that's also why instead of just calling it a hyaluronic acid, which I just think is a foul sounding name of something, we call it the restoration cream, because I really believe that at the end of the day, just like you said, when you put that on, your whole face just goes, oh.
Yeah.
That's why I like to wash my face twice. I know a lot of people only do it once, but I have to take my makeup off at night and have that clean like feeling. But we're skipping. Can we talk about the vitamin C serum too? Because that's the second one.
The vitamin C serum, is that what you said?
Yeah, because that's our second. First we do the cleanse and then we do the.
Yeah, so we can talk about the vitamin C serum. So that kind of goes into the fact of why we chose the stabilized vitamin C, which is the 3-glyceryl ascorbate, instead of the typical ascorbic acid. So 3-glyceryl ascorbate chemically is actually ascorbic acid binded to glycerin. So with it doing that automatically makes it more water soluble, which means that it's going to penetrate your skin faster. And it's going to go straight to that epidermis, and go into your skin versus just sitting on top.
So are there a lot of vitamin C brand? Because there's a lot of vitamin C serums out there that cost like 120, 130, 200, 300. No, I mean, I've used them, so I know. So are they using that same kind of vitamin C, or is this like a rarity that we've chosen?
It's not rare. It is becoming more popular. All vitamin C is kind of just popular in general, and there's a lot of different options. It kind of depends on which application you're going to be using it in. And then speaking on price, Amy, is like a lot of people can charge prices for things that doesn't necessarily mean that it comes from the ingredients. So that's also a kind of a misconception of consumers is that they think, oh, better price is better product. Well, not necessarily. Like, you can have that price come from research. You can have that price come from packaging. You can have that price come from too many hands in the buckets wanting a piece of the pie. And you never know. But to the same token, like, you do want to make sure you're not going to the Dollar Tree to buy skincare, or you're buying something for $1, because that's also a red flag. So
I do like a good Dollar Tree, though. Somebody
sometimes, yeah.
Somebody recently was like, you don't.
I'm not going to knock on Dollar Tree, because they at least have their ducks in a row, and they have good skincare on.
I don't buy skincare from there, though. Okay, and then I love that we've added soursop.
Yeah. So soursop is in everything. And then the stem cells, and then the fruit for the soursop does one thing while the leaves do kind of another thing. But they work together. So soursop in general is super high in vitamin C. So that brightens your overall complexion and repairs the skin's barrier. And also vitamin C helps with acne, turns out, too. So the leaves and the fruit are both high in antioxidants. Both are anti-inflammatory. However, the leaves help more with the eczema and the acne, while also soothing that irritation. So after your sunburn, or after your sun rash, or even post-acne, any irritation that you might have from any spots that were causing you problems, that can kind of soothe it.
And you only need a little tiny bit.
Yeah.
You only need a little bit. It goes a long way.
I was really using way too much because I love it so much, but it was the very first thing I was running out of, because I was like, the entire vial full, squirt the whole thing out and just whoosh. Yeah. And then I realized it's actually really funny because my husband uses it too. And then my kids are actually fighting over it. They actually fight over it. And so my daughter actually steals it out of the bathroom and takes it into her bedroom and does the makeup out of her vanity in her bedroom. And then my son will be like, where'd the skincare go? So I actually had to get them each their own set so that everybody was happy. And then we were all talking about it, and she says, well, I run out of the vitamin C serum so fast. And I was like, me too. And then, my husband goes, well, you're using too much. And I'm like, it's my product line. And he's like, you're using too much. And I'm like, I am. And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, but it feels so good. He goes, yeah, but it feels the same when you only use half of a vial, or not even half of a vial, instead of the entire, because he watches me do
it goes a long ways.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I was like, okay, we're all going to fight over the vitamin C serum in this house.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think too, like with you saying that you might be using too much or too less, I think it is important to note too that your skin is like your largest organ in your body. Yeah. And it is there to protect you. So it has to do with, the word chemical too, is like, the skin is an organ. Like, you have lots of chemicals around you. If you go get gas, there's chemicals at the gas station. It's there to protect you. So if you're putting on a ton of vitamin C, you don't have to worry about almost overdosing yourself, because your skin is going to take care of that.
Right.
And you don't have to worry about too much on there in certain ingredients, because your skin is going to protect it, just as long as your barrier is made. So that's also why the hyaluronic acid cream is super good.
Let's get to one of the jewels of our. This is like special because it doesn't exist out in the market except for what we have from what we can find. Correct?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So the fun that I made about this one, and I tried to remember if you guys requested like a certain texture, and I couldn't remember anything. I think you just said like a hyaluronic acid product. And I actually chose to make it more of like a serum-y cream, because that makes it thinner and it goes on faster. And it also has 2 different levels of hyaluronic acid. So can I go to the next screen? Yes. Okay. So the epidermis, there's certain amount of kilodaltons that you want of ingredients in general, not just hyaluronic acid, even plant extracts, stem cells, peptides, everything, to reach certain layers of the skin. So anything less than 100 kilodaltons will go to this top layer of the epidermis. So that's super, super small. Anything that's between 100 and 1,000 kilodaltons I'm sorry, I misspoke. So less than 100 kilodaltons is deep into the epidermis. So that would be more into the stratum granulosum or the spinosum or the basal. And then 100 to 1,000 kilodaltons is reaching into it. So you can go into the lucidum or the granulosum. And then if you want something to sit on the top of the surface, that would be more than 1,000 kilodaltons. And there's benefits to all of those. So you want certain things to sit on top of your skin surface. For example, some hyaluronic acid, because you want long-term benefits, long-term hydration, long-term moisturization. If you want something to go into the epidermis, that would be for giving you hydration and barrier support. So a lot of popular thing that's coming about now is the skin's barrier. And if you don't have a good skin barrier in general, then you're kind of screwed for everything else. You can't take ingredients in correctly. You can't protect yourself from bad things. It's just not the way that it needs to be. And then if you're less than 100 kilodaltons, less than 100, you want to go into the epidermis. So deep into there, into the stratum basal, into the spinosum, and that's going to help support the skin regeneration. So that's where you kind of want your peptides to kind of aim for, not necessarily go, but that's what you're looking for. So the hyaluronic acid has the low molecular weight, which goes deep into the epidermis, and then also has high molecular weight, which sits on top of the skin surface for long-term repair. So you have that immediate into the epidermis, and then you have the sitting on top too for the skin repair. And then I also chose a thickener that's in there that has proven efficacy for repairing the skin's barrier. So you're kind of getting like a triple whammy almost with that hyaluronic acid. And then you also have to take in mind that it's kind of thinner too. So it even absorbs even faster. So in general, it just feels really great and it smells great and it works. I need to send you guys my before and after pictures because I have been mainly just using only that product because that's the one I like the most. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm a chemist, but I'm not a skincare girl. I like one thing and that's all I do. So I'm really kind of lazy with it, but maybe when I turn 30, it'll be a little bit better.
I just want to say one thing about people that said 4 steps, Amy, that's too much. Like, I don't have time for it. Now that they're using it, they're like, it absorbs so quickly and it's such a quick, like it's less than a couple minutes to do all 4 steps. It's not like it's a big deal, which I love, but I love how you made this product. I do think it's one of our hero products.
Yeah.
I love it. And so is it typical? I'm going off you on the questions here, but is it typical that people have the high and the low, or is it that people usually produce products that have one or the other?
I think it's typical to have one or the other or to have all of the options. There's more options than just low and high. There's super low. There's another one that's even like a weird name. And you don't necessarily need all of them. They all benefit certain things. But choosing the ones that you need for this specific product really helps. So with the low and the high being both in this one, the thickener that I chose kind of helps that go into the skin and you're not getting like too much either. So,
and this is one of the products that got extensive testing that typically people don't do.
Yeah.
We got to talk about that too. We're running out of time, girls. This is why Megan, you have to come back.
Yes.
Got to get through it all.
So another myth, speaking on testing, is that it sounds really bad, but a lot of brands don't like to do the quote unquote safety testing that they're required to do by the FDA. And they can kind of get around it because the FDA doesn't have time to look into it, or they're not big enough that they're not making an impact. But that might change in this new year, which is great. But with that being said, like some people don't even do the basic stability test, which is really sad. And you guys did do the stability, which is fantastic. Bravo to you guys. Mainly because it's an extra cost. It can rack up almost close to 10 to 20 grand just in a launch, all for testing, which some brands don't see as necessary because they don't have any money to even launch something in the first place. And, you know, not doing the testing behind it, it can just is asking for an open can of bad worms. You just don't want any of it.
If you're going to launch something, that's why it's important to have that money there to do it properly. So it isn't cheap to launch.
No, it's not. And I think that is like, it's easy, quote unquote, to launch, but it's not necessarily easy in the sense of dollar signs either. Because you need to do everything that you should do and recommended to do. And if you skip one thing, it could cause you problems in somewhere else. So
you can thank Jimmy for that one. She'd come to me and be like, well, talk to you. We need to have this for this.
I'm like, you're
I need to spend that money for that. She's like, yes. I'm like, okay, I trust you.
Yeah. And it made, you know, it also can help you be aware of like things that may happen to your formula over time, and just getting yourself ahead of it. And everybody lives in different places when you're selling a brand. So knowing ahead of time of like what happens with heat with your product, what happens with certain light, what happens with certain air, certain humidities, like just having that knowledge gives you the, like, I can't think of the word, but it, as a brand, it benefits you overall, just for, not just for the product to check a box. Like that's not what you're trying to do.
It's this ammunition to defend our product as superior.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's great. Okay, but I don't want to forget to talk about the peptides.
Yes, the firming cream.
Firming cream. It is crazy. Our firming cream is like blowing my ever loving mind, like literally making my Botox last longer. I know I said that earlier. Yes, I know all of my crunchy ladies out there are like, I can't believe you get Botox. Well, believe it, sister. I'm 46 years old and ain't nothing going to stop these wrinkles except for the firming cream is making it last so much longer. I almost feel like I could try not getting Botox for a really, really long time just to see like how I can do, but I'm so scared to do it. But meanwhile, my wrinkles are going away. Putting it on her booty. I mean,
I'm putting it in my inner thighs, my outer thighs, my arms, everywhere.
It's so funny. It's like, it's the craziest stuff. So tell us now, because we had.
Why does this work on all body parts too?
Yeah. And we had some conversations about the peptides. And of course, there are like more, I'm going to say, quote unquote, natural peptides. And then we picked these specific ones for a very specific reason. First of all, we wanted it to stink and work.
Right.
I'm sick and tired of people saying stuff works when it doesn't work. And so excited. Okay, tell us
especially with peptides, right?
Yeah.
I think that people have kind of portrayed the word peptide as kind of a scary word too, and it doesn't need to be. We have peptides inside of us. Peptides are just naturally a part of your skin. Same with collagen and elastin. So these peptides, there's 2 in this firming cream, and they actually work synergistically with each other. So another cool thing about our line, the Livyond line, is that everything works together. So the hyaluronic acid works with these peptides that is in the hyaluronic acid cream, which is in the firming cream. The vitamin C works with the hyaluronic acid. The cleanser helps open up everything. So they all work together. And that's also why you need an expert to build your line, and you can't do it in your kitchen. Or you shouldn't do it in your kitchen, because you just need that back knowledge of everything. So in the firming cream, there's palmitoyl tripeptide 1 and then palmitoyl tetrapeptide 7. So those 2 work synergistically together. The first one I want to talk about is the tripeptide 1. So that one is mainly for collagen production, and helps wrinkle reduction, improve firmness, texture elasticity, and hydration. And a good thing biggest thing about peptides and what they do is that they're considered cell messengers. So they communicate with whatever target cell is in the skin that they're talking to. So different peptides target different functions within the cell. They're also least likely to cause irritation. because they're already part of your skin. So you're just adding it in there. And then they mimic the skin's own signals. So it's not anything new. It's not anything drastic where your skin can freak out and be like, oh my gosh, what did you just put on me? Like, it's already there. So the palmitoyl tripeptide 1 signals skin cells to boost support structures, repair damage, and increase hyaluronic acid. So when you use it with the hyaluronic acid cream, you're not only getting the dose of hyaluronic acid, but you're increasing the benefit of it, and the repair for the damage and the barrier for the skin. So that kind of goes into what Tetra 7 is. So that one also boosts collagen, reduces inflammation, and improves firmness. So this one inhibits pro-inflammatory messengers. So kind of also helps with soursop, because your soursop is very inflammatory, and this kind of gives it a boost. So everything is working together, just for overall skin rejuvenation. So when you put on the hyaluronic acid cream, you're like, oh, I have this experience with this, but you can have a different experience when you're also using the vitamin C serum and with the firming cream, because everything's just working together. So
I love it. That's why it's important to buy the kit.
Yeah.
That's why we try to make the kit affordable, because they all work together, and it's obvious that they all work together. I've tried it individually for a period of time. I'm like, they work so good together.
Yep. Yeah. And intentionally separate, because we do not want to just put it all into our hand and mix it all together. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I just want like one thing that I put on my skin after I wash my face. And so we've actually had a few people take our products and just throw each one into their hand and just smash it all together and wipe it on their face. And I'm like, no, that's not how it's designed. Yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah, and that kind of scares me from a chemist perspective, because somewhere in here I was talking about the pH. Like you guys asked, how do you formulate products that work for both sensitive and acne-prone skin? And the pH of your skin, you want to make sure that products are good in the pH of your skin, but you also want to be aware of that the pH for sensitive skin and acne-prone skin are slightly different. So you want to make sure you cover both bases of that. And then also your glycolic acid is an acid, whereas hyaluronic acid is just a name. It's not necessarily an acid by pH. Structure-wise, it might be, but not pH. So your guys' cleanser is actually lower in pH because it has an alpha hydroxy acid in it, which is that glycolic acid. So if you put that and mix it with all of your other products, you all have the potential of almost not deactivating it, but in your hand, like you can't just mix them all together. Like they have to be applied, they have to let them sink in, and you can't just slap it all on and call it a day. Like that's not how it works.
Right. And the layer of viscosity, it's all very intentional. There really is a method to the madness. It's not like, oh, we just thought it'd be really fun to make you guys buy 3 separate products, and it doesn't take more time. It really doesn't take more time. You're either going to squirt all 3 into your hand and then slap it on your face, or you're going to put one in your hand, put it on your face, another, put it on your, you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't save you time to do that. So please, please, please do not do that. It's just, it's made this way intentionally. It is really incredible. It is going to penetrate exactly where it needs to go. It's made thoughtfully. It is safe. It is just so exciting. I would hate for you to waste your money to buy all the products and then just smash them all together.
Yeah. It just, I'm like, oh, I don't want to hear that.
there is like this hot thing about all-in-one product for time, and everyone wants instant. And there is a phenomenal skincare line out of Switzerland. One of our investors created, and she does have an all-in-one. And I can honestly tell you, I've timed how long it takes for that to absorb in my skin versus our products. And it's basically almost the same amount of time, a little tiny bit less, but not much. But before we go, one of the things I get asked all the time is about stem cells.
Yeah.
So can we talk about our stem cells?
For sure. All right. So you guys have two different fruit stem cells that we chose. So you have the Swiss apple stem cells and then the orange stem cells. And each of those has its own little function. It's not necessarily just for marketing. You want to make sure that it's functional too. But stem cells in general, specifically talking about fruit stem cells and plant stem cells, they contain amino acids, more peptides, sugars, and growth factors. There are no ethical concerns from this standpoint. They are more than likely made in a lab, which doesn't mean bad. I make things in the lab. You can't have skincare doesn't grow on a tree. You gotta whip it up in the lab.
I love you.
Unfortunately, you have to put some gloves on. I'm sorry. But there's no ethical concerns. And then it delivers potent antioxidants, vitamins, and growth factors. And then in regards to the plant, that also helps the plant repair damage. So humans, we are a mammal, and mammals do share certain cell properties as plants. So whatever those properties are that are helping with the fruit stem cells, humans can also benefit that. So if it happens in a plant, it can also happen in the intercellular factors that we share with the plant. So in comparison to the other option of stem cells, which is the embryonic, that mimics human cells, which there are ethical concerns because they're made from embryos. However, that might be a little bit quicker in the sense of getting your stem cells because you're the same genetic makeup as embryos.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people going to Costa Rica and other countries getting that. And I want to know where they're coming from. Like, where are they getting that? I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
So stick with fruit stem cells.
Yeah. From an ethical standpoint, I mean, you can always flip the coin to be ethical. That's kind of with like clean kind of has turned into whether or not it's ethical or not, but that's a whole different term. So they're not one and the same. But the apple stem cells, they specifically protect the longevity of skin and delays the aging. And then the orange stem cells specifically increase the expression of genes that are capable of improving the structure of the extracellular matrix, which is a lot of words.
Hey, it's just natural, powerful aging stem cells.
Yeah. So the extracellular matrix is like everything that's inside of that cell that is helping it. And you want to make sure that you have a good structure for that. Same with your skin barrier. Because if you don't have a structure for that, everything else is going to fall.
Yeah. And I thank you for putting those in there because I know I was like, I want stem cells.
Yeah.
The right kind.
Yes. Yeah. And it kind of matches your guys' fruit vibes. I know you asked me like, what's my favorite, what I'm most proud of. And I feel like it sounds cliche, but I'm most proud of like the way that the formulas smell. They literally smell so good. They smell like Fruity Pebbles. I just put them on my face and I'm like, oh, this is delightful.
Fruity Pebbles. I haven't smelled a Fruity Pebble in a long time.
Oh, well, I like Fruity Pebbles. My boyfriend thinks they smell like Fruit Loops. So, Fruit Loops, Fruity Pebbles, same thing.
Okay, let's not go there because then I have to get all into the food industry.
Oh, well, yeah. We don't want to talk about that. But I think, like, it just smells so good.
And I never thought of it.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go buy Fruity Pebbles.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
I love citrus, anything.
Yeah.
Citrus girl. So this is heaven. When I got it, I was like, oh, this is perfect.
It's so good. I know. It's actually kind of funny because we all got a little smell blind to it, because we're smelling it so much. Yeah. And he's like, does it even smell like it anymore? I was like, it does. We're just like so used to how beautiful it smells. I love it.
And I make skincare all day, every day. So like something that from my perspective, like you have to have 3 good things that sell your line. And it's either if you're going to have a smell, the way that it feels, and the product itself, disregarding like your marketing and your packaging stuff. So it's something that just stands out from my perspective and just my use of skincare, which is not much. I just make it. I don't tend to use it, which is very bad, but I just like the way that it smells, and it's just different, and in a good way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're so grateful for your time because you are a busy girl. You are so busy and you've got a lot going on, and you've spent a lot of time with us already creating these projects. So I love that you were able to come on here and educate our consumers. And
Absolutely.
we're really proud of this line. Like Uber, it's definitely our hero product in our company, products, I should say. And I'm so grateful to you, Megan. So grateful
For you guys. Like Jimmy and I talk about it all the time. It kind of goes both ways. It's definitely a partnership. And that's kind of what you want to have in life. You want a good skincare that's going to be your partner and put your skin back into gear. So,
and you all, Megan really cares. Like I've worked with a lot of manufacturers. She cares so much. It's almost as though this is her product. Well, it is essentially.
Yeah.
But like I've worked with so many people that just don't care, and you care so much. And I've worked with people that care, but care deeply. Like it's
I appreciate it.
This is your baby. This is our baby together. We all made this baby together. Now let's watch it grow.
Yes.
Okay, so Megan, stay on with us after we end live so we can just reconvene for just a few minutes. But you guys,
thank you, Courtney.
Thank you.
Shout out to Courtney.
And we actually had a few people whose names I don't recognize, which is wonderful. We have Amy. So we have some of our people and some new people joining us today, which is so great. If you're watching the replay on this, please go to Livyond.com. And we'll put that in the comments and all of that. And we will be back in 2 weeks. We're doing this live every other Wednesday at 1:00 Central. So we will be here again in a couple of weeks. And we look forward to seeing you all then.
We'll have Megan come back.
Yes, we'll have her come back and make sure that we advertise when she's coming back.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll see you guys all next time.
I want that sign, by the way.